The attack on Paris. Next to 9/11, it is one of the biggest Western terrorist attacks that for some hit a little too close to home. On November 13th, 2015, an organized group of gunmen and suicide bombers hit a major stadium, concert hall, along with restaurants and bars almost simultaneously. The terrorists claimed 150 plus lives and left upwards of 370 wounded.
In this video, we will walk you through all the events that occurred that night.
The first attack happened outside the Stade de France, where France was playing Germany in a game of football with a crowd of 80,000. A man wearing a suicide belt was reported to be stopped from entering the stadium after a security check detected the explosives. He then, according to the Wall Street Journal, backed away from the security guards and detonated his explosives, killing himself and a passerby.
At 9:30, when a second suicide bomber detonated outside a different stadium entrance, French President François Hollande was evacuated and the game continued. Sometime afterward, more suicide bombers arrived. At least 4 were killed by blasts, and everyone fled the stadium seats into the center pitch.
During the attacks on the stadium, a bar, Le Carillon, in the 10th arrondissement was also attacked. At first, witnesses thought that a firecracker had gone off before realizing that they were under fire. A black seat car had pulled up and shot at the bar using semi-automatic rifles. A man then got out of the car and crossed the street where he opened fire on a noodle shop, Le Petit Cambodge, in total leaving 15 dead and 15 severely injured. Soon after, a man got out of a car in front of La Belle Équipe and shot at the cafe, killing as many as a dozen people.
Another attack occurred outside Café Bonne Bière and La Casa Nostra Pizzeria. It was reported that, like the other incident, the terrorist arrives in a black seat, claiming another 5 lives and leaving 8 severely injured.
4 attackers entered the Bataclan concert hall on Voltaire Boulevard in Paris's 11th arrondissement. An hour after American band Eagles of Death Metal takes the stage, witnesses report hearing the attackers yell, "Allahu Akbar." The gunmen opened fire on the audience, killing around 90 people and injuring hundreds more. They took hostages inside the theater, and a few more may have been killed in the time between the initial attack and their eventual rescue.
An attacker entered multiple fast food locations and killed numerous people before fleeing the scene. Not much is confirmed about this attack besides that it was quick and deadly.
President François Hollande places the whole country under a state of emergency and announces that controls have been re-established at all of France's borders, which are normally open to other countries in the European Union border-free zone.
Police commandos storm the concert hall. As police close in, at least 2 terrorists detonate their belts and 1 more is shot to death. As police officers continued to storm the building, the terrorists lobbed grenades at both the officers and hostages. Officials say the police operation at the concert hall is over. They also confirm that 89 to 100 people have died.
The attack was considered officially over, and people started to survey the damage and casualties. Police confirmed 100 people were killed inside the Bataclan Theater and over 50 elsewhere throughout the city. Little damage was caused by bombs, besides superficial building damage and loss of human life.
While it is impossible to know for sure what the causes of these terrorist attacks are, we can speculate. The problem really started all the way back at the end of the First World War with the European divisions of the Ottoman Empire. The divisions de-unified the Middle East, causing it to return to its more violent tribal ways of the latter Persian empires previously.
These divisions and abuse of the Middle Eastern land and resources caused resentment toward the West. In more recent years, Western nations have delved themselves unnecessarily into Middle Eastern issues and wars, like the Gulf War and the invasion of Iraq. These actions spurred on anti-Western sentiment.
The attack was most likely caused by the opportunity to conduct an attack of such damage and coordination, as well as enough support and manpower. ISIS, more specifically, sees our religion and indulgence as impure, and they believe they are conveying the will of Allah to exterminate Western culture. These attacks are directed at Paris for it being a large city in a largely Christian nation, with its people being able to enjoy themselves easily. Paris is, after all, called the City of Love.
At the end of it all, the Paris attacks left 150 plus people dead and approximately 370 injured, many critically. Along with striking fear into the hearts of French citizens, it also surged an already growing anti-Muslim slash immigration movement in Europe. Extremely right-wing anti-Muslim immigration and xenophobic political groups gained significant power in Europe. And the US, for example, Mr. Trump.
The success of the Paris attacks was encouraging to ISIS militants in the East and gave morale to their terror ring worldwide. Normal people are now more vigilant and worried of the constant terror threat as most Western nations have seen their fair share of attacks. These attacks also sparked some controversy over the security of bringing in Syrian refugees and Middle Eastern immigrants. Airport security has since been heightened, and police and military presence has been drastically increased in France, Belgium, and Germany. Many raids are conducted on houses of terror suspects, and random searches of people who appear Middle Eastern are normal now. People are scared and vigilant. Things are now different.
It is believed by terror experts that ISIS could be preparing for their Plan B. What exactly that is, we do not know. The Paris attacks were an awakening for us all to be prepared and be ready for the future of Western terrorism.